Hey y'all, this is Miss Carpenter showing you guys how to do the bobblehead Photoshop for photo edits using pattern and emphasis. I'm going to start with this background that I found off the internet, and I'm going to Photoshop it or photo edit with using a feature called Magic in the effects section. Um, you don't have to do this, but I like to customize and make it look a little bit different. So I'm going to play around with the more colorful effects. For this activity, you want to emphasize things or make everything look cartoony or over exaggerated. So it's good to choose colors that work with that. I actually think I like this one. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my tools, crop out that background. You need one picture and you can double it, or you need two different pictures, one for the body or the neck and shoulders and another one for what head of yourself you want. In this case, I'm using two different pictures, so I thought it'd be fun to do my wedding photo. So I'm going to get me in my wedding dress and we're going to cut this out. So at the bottom of the screen you should see a little scissors, and you'll hit the scissors, and I want to make this more neat, y'all. I'm just doing enough to see if this feature will Photoshop it out for me. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. And I'm also using PicsArt again, by the way. There are some other Photoshop or photo edit features that will have this cutout feature, but this is the only one that I'm familiar with. Remember, PicsArt is free, and it has a lot of great features, including this one. Now, it didn't get everything for me. Everything is red is what's going to be cut out, and we want that to look better. So we're going to go to the brush. Don't hit erase because it will literally erase everything. And start coloring in. But it did pretty good. There's not too much I have to do. I'm just fixing it up and cleaning up my lines. Keep in mind, if you don't want to watch this video the whole 10, maybe 15 minutes, this is how long it most likely will last, you can always skip ahead. Some of y'all catch on easily. If you know you don't, you might want to watch the whole video. And I think I erased that by mistake. Let me see. Yeah, I did. And follow along with me. I'm going to get the edge of my dress better, and I am using my fingers. I kind of go up and down these little backward motions like I'm coloring. Sometimes you can just drag your hand across the line like that. Doesn't have to get perfectly on the line. And we can leave some of the edges off a little bit. When it disappears, I am hitting the back arrow because I messed up. This is something I want to look really nice. Being an art teacher and just doing any of my work, I would like it to look good, so I do take my time and I do hit the back arrow when I make mistakes, because I have that choice and that option. I would definitely do the same, because the more neat and the more nice you make your project, the higher your grade. I'm going to raise the size up to about this much. And this is a lot easier to cut out, y'all, because I do have a dress on. It can be a little bit more challenging if you have the regular full body picture and you have shoes on, or you might have more accessories. But remember, you just need to get the outline. You can always color in. That is a faster way to do it. So it's however, hit that erase. I didn't mean to do that. You want to do it. This is just my way of tackling this cutout. I try not to hit the back arrow too many times, because sometimes when you hit it too often, it'll have a little glitch or it might act up. And I do have glitches sometimes when it'll mess up the photo once I save it, or it might not even save it at all, which sucks. So keep in mind, just like anything, dealing with technology, you can have problems like that. So that's why it's always good to save every step that you do. So like after this, I'm going to save it or screenshot it. And after I add something else, I probably will save it and screenshot. So I won't have to, in case something happens, I won't have to go all the way back over from the start. I'm almost done. This should be enough. And I'm going to check. Anything that's white will not save, because that's not what we want. Make that a little bit smaller. I need to get my earrings and my hair, and then I'll be done. And that's really small, y'all, so that's hard to do. Trying to zoom as much as I can. This is as close as I can get. So I'm not going to try to make that perfect, but I'm trying to get just the earring and nothing else. And actually, you know what? I think I'm going to cut off my head because I really won't need this. I mean, you could leave the head there, but keep in mind I am going to turn this into a bobble head. I'm just going to leave it right there. Because I am going to put a different head over it. And even if it was the same picture and same head, I would still not necessarily need all of that anyway. You'll see why in a second. And that's definitely a mistake, y'all. It's really important that you get rid of everything around your object because it will literally cut out everything. It'll be basically like a sticker. And so you'll have that full body and there's this little weird spot from the floor or something hovering around it too. And that does look strange. So it's important that you make sure you have everything that you mainly need and nothing else. And I'm trying to get everything on the inside. Any little white that I see or something that shouldn't be white, I'm trying to get it so I can make sure when it cuts out really good. Because you want it to look believable. You don't want it to look tacky. So now I'm going to save it. That's a pretty background. It actually worked out well. And I might change the color of me later on. I'm going to add a photo. I'm going to pick this photo of me and Mr. Carpenter. And we got married. And I'm going to crop out him to only my head. And I'm going to cut that out. You could have just cut it out, but I like to do that just so I can zero in and you won't even have to worry about all that other stuff. And let's see how well this thing shapes up everything for me so I won't have to do so much work. Sometimes it'll do it really good. Sometimes it'll be awful. And you pretty much have to do all the work by yourself, but it depends. Let's see. That's okay. Didn't really help, but it works. I did change it to the brush because it automatically goes to the eraser, which you don't always want to do. Get a little of those curls, and I might come back later on and get them in more fine detail, and I'll show you what I mean with that later. Remember with this project, we already have pattern, which is going to be in the background, and we're creating emphasis by creating a bobblehead of ourselves. So it's enlarged or emphasized or over-exaggerated to make your head stand out, because emphasis is all about something standing out from the rest. In our case, our head will be standing out because it looks abnormally large, and sometimes it'll be more so our eyes or both. You don't have to make your eyes pop out like the examples that I had in the picture, but I like to because it's a little bit more fun. And the fun thing about PixArt app, if you have an account with Facebook, or sometimes if you don't have an account, and whenever you make these stickers, it saves them for you so you can always come back to it later and reuse them. I'm not sure how it would be if you did not have an account. I would think if for some reason you deleted the account and uploaded again, those stickers will most likely disappear. But if you do have an account using Facebook, or you can use your Gmail with it, when you log out or log back into that account, you still should have those same stickers, which is pretty nice, especially if you liked your cutouts. I like to save mine and reuse them for other art projects. I think I did pretty good on the outline of my hair. I'm going to keep it very hard and make my size really small and get a little bit of my hair to make it look more natural. You don't have to do this. You could skip this step if you want to. But I like to do a little bit of hair going out like that, because it would literally cut out all of that for you, and it looks pretty nice because it gives you that little realistic or natural touch to your sticker. It doesn't look so cookie cutter. Miss Diamond ring the bell so she can go use the bathroom. I'm trying to let her go out. She will use the bathroom now. So when you do this, you want to try to get as much design or touches as you want to. She's playing games, y'all. She didn't even go out. But from afar, it shouldn't look too crazy. I mean, sometimes it will. And if it does, you can always clean it back up if you don't like the way it looks. I don't necessarily care for that. Let's see. Uh-oh. And clean up anything else. And I made a mistake, so I'm going to hit the back button again. I'm just going to erase that. Uh-oh. And it will glitch like that sometimes. I'm going to change it back to 90. Then the hardness and softness is pretty much like opacity. So how high or how low you do it does change on how hard or how soft those edges will look. I'm going to put it about 90 because I want it to look a little natural, not too sharp. Trying to get as much of my earrings as I can. I think that's good enough. So I'm going to save it. It looks funny. And put it on like that. That looks really funny, y'all. So I'm going to play around with it. And let's try flipping it. And I'm also going to, I don't know, what's that little funny thing I see at the bottom of my chin? I'm not going to worry about that. And I'm also going ahead and change my skin tone to match the top one a little bit better. And I'm going to do that through the saturation. And that's how bright or how rich that color is. The lower it is, the lighter it is, or sometimes you lose all color. The higher it is, the more of it, the brighter or the richer your color is. And I'm going to hit check. I think I want to change this one and make it come a little bit lower. And hit the check mark. I'm going to try to make it a little bit smaller. I feel like my head is just too big. And I also felt like I could have maybe made my neck a little bit longer. It looks kind of funny. So I'm really just playing around with how I want to do that. I think I want to actually bring that down some. And right there. And of course, if you don't like it, you can always do something where you go back to the image and do another head. And what I'm probably going to do, I'm going to see how it looks. So I literally don't have two heads. And you guys can always speed past this if y'all want to. And cut out my other head and see if that looks any different or better. And most likely it will, because it naturally goes with your head. Sometimes you can find another head that works well, like I have done in another photo before, and sometimes it doesn't work well, which is fine. Sometimes if you blend it or you add some effects on top of it, it will look a lot better, so it just depends. So I'm going to save that, and that literally did nothing that time, so we're not going to worry about it. I'm going to go ahead, get my chin, jawline. It's a little bit too low. Get inside my hair, and I'm not going to do the hair strands this time. That would look nice, but... And this, if you haven't noticed, this is as close as I can zoom in, so that's another reason I won't get the hair strands. It'll be too much work and too difficult. It's not worth it. You still can make it look just as good without doing that. I am trying to make it uneven on purpose, because you do want it to look natural. You don't want it to look cookie cutter. And I'm going to change the size. And I'm just literally tapping and kind of dragging very slowly. There we go. Perfect. See if I can get it right here. Oops. And we're going to save that and see how that looks. Most likely it's going to look better. So we're going to just pretend it's not there. Adjust. Cancel. And hit adjust. Hit saturation. And we're going to hit brightness because it looks too dark. Oh. About right. About right there. You could do more things like with highlights. I think I want to bring down the highlight so my face won't look so shiny. Can't do anything about that cheek, can I? About right there is good. Oh, I forgot I have to hit check. You have to be careful, because like if I was to hit check right now, it would save with this little weird head in the corner, which would look bad. So we definitely want to make sure we have everything that we want before we hit save. And I definitely think this head looks better than this head. I thought it would look better originally because it's sharper and it's clearer, but I think I got too much of my jawline or my neck right here, so it makes my jawline look really broad and weird. So we're going to exit that out and use this one. And you can always change it around. And you can always make it a little bit smaller. It doesn't have to be extremely big. You just want it bigger. That's the whole point of it. I think I want to angle it more. It looks a little bit better. Trying to show a little bit of my neck. I know that looks funny, but we'll save it like there. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Again. Done. Go back to it. And we're going to Photoshop on top of this Photoshop. And you can always do something where you add words or you add more images. It's really cool when you add stickers. You can have stickers that you've already created, like so. This will be weird, but I could have added Diamond's head. This is the wrong project for that, but it would work well for something like contrast, or it could actually work for emphasis, but with you guys, you have to use portions of yourself. So, but just so you know, you could add something where you can have wedding cake, and let's see what we find. And you could add something where you add one of these stickers. I'm not going to use it, but I'm just going to pull one out so y'all can see. I don't necessarily like that one, but let's use that one. And you can have that sitting there, or you can find a sticker of a table and put that table and put that in front of it. You know, something like that. So what I'm going to do, since I've saved this, exit out, because I'm not going to use stickers. You guys can if you want to. I'm going to go to Effects again, hit Flora, or hit another one that would change the color drastically. And we're going to try to blend that in or kind of cartoonize it. You can literally go to Effect, and it's artistic, called Comic or Cartoon. But I tend to like the magic a little bit better. And I did notice that my head is not that sharp. You see how the lines are kind of blurred around the edges, whereas my body is a lot more crisp and clean. If you had a chance, or say if you still had that sticker, and for example, I should, you could do something where you go to your stickers, go to that, you hit adjust again, and you can do the clarity, and it kind of sharpens it for you. And I still could have done saturation, still could have done brightness, and tone it down some, highlights, tone it down a little bit. I think I actually like it like that. And clarity would just sharpen it up just a little bit. So say if I just didn't care for the way that looked, I might do like 50, hit check, and make it a little bit smaller. Just kind of angle this over my head again. And save it. You will have problems like this when it's not saving. So we're not going to worry about it. I think I did like that better, so let's try it again. Sticker again, hit that. Hit adjust. We're going to do saturation all the way. We're going to do brightness up some instead of down some, because that sticker did come out a little dark. Clarity, how sharp it is, and kind of sharpen that up some. And because clarity brightens that up, we're going to actually go back to bright and dim that down a little bit, just a teensy bit. And you can always do stuff with highlights or shadows, things like that. I actually think less shadow looks a little bit better for my picture. Let's see if saturation can get a little bit And we're going to hit save. That worked this time. So we're going to save that. And sometimes if it still acts funny, which it's still doing, you won't save it. You can always screenshot it. Discard. Hit the back button. Go to your screenshot. I'm going to crop it out. There's ways to work around it, y'all. Save it. We're going to go back to effects. This will be our final thing that we have to do. Play around with them. I think I'm going to go back to the one I originally had, which was this one. And I'm going to fade it down. We don't want it that much different. Or sometimes you can go to this one that I use for soul. I use that one a lot and play around with that. I think I like soul, but let me see. I use soul a lot. Let me go back to that one, kind of compare them. No, I don't think I like that for me. So let's save it at 70. And you can always do something to over exaggerate it. And what I did forget, I forgot to do my eyes. So we're going to go to Effects again. You go to Distort. And you go to Fish Eye, which pops your eyes out. That looks so funny, y'all. And sometimes you can do something where you almost make a character and play around with the face and everything, but we don't want to do that. We want to keep it simple, so we're going to do it about 10. Should be good enough for this eye. That looks a little funny. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes the fish eye doesn't make it look good, y'all, so you don't always have to do the fish eye. You can't leave it at that. I'm going to try 5. Maybe 10. 17 is really exaggerated. Let's try 15. And let's save it. We do have that already saved anyway, so we can always hit that back arrow. If we don't like the way it looks, go back to fish eye again. It looks so funny. I think it was 15, if I wasn't mistaken. And hit 15 again. This actually looks a little bit too big, so we're going to make it a little bit smaller, like about 13. And you want to do it where the eye, where it's right on the eye. And to me, that's still a little bit too exaggerated, so we're going to lower that down to about, I think 10 was good. Notice how when you do that, the lines right by the eye kind of really change up how the edge of your face is, so you don't want to overdo it. I think 10 is pretty good. Maybe a little bit bigger. Teensy bit bigger. Let's try 12. Ooh, that's big. And that's always going to be the challenge, y'all, keeping it right on the side. Let's try 13. And we just want to fix where it is on the eye a little bit. Notice how it literally changes everything, y'all, like the eyes, the nose, everything. Trying to zoom in as much as I can to really get a grip on it. I think that's the best we're going to get out of that. It still looks funny because that bottom line is a little too dark. So this one's bothering me. Let's go back to 10. I know I'm an art teacher when I have to try to get everything almost perfect. Alright. Doesn't have to be perfect, we just need to look right. I think that's the best we're going to do. So let's just go back to 15, leave it at that. Change it just a little bit for that. That's better. Let's zoom out. Let's try going down a little bit. Okay, that looks better. I just wanted that little dark outline underneath my eye, and I couldn't get it. So we're going to save it like that. You can save it like this, or you can always play around with saturation or color to emphasize it a little bit more, and that's a little bit prettier to me. So we're going to save it like that. Hit save. And remember, you guys only need 2 collages, so that's what we're going to do. Going to back out of that, go to collages, go with that original photo and my wedding dress and the cartoon version of me right there. And you can also get different sizes, but in this case, the regular 1x1 square works out the best to me, and I'm going to blow this up a little bit for better comparison. And there we go.